Hola, ¿qué tal, gente de Combo? El día de hoy estamos aquí en el junket de Guardianes de la Bahía. Hola, ¿qué tal, gente de Combo? El día de hoy estamos en el junket de Guardianes de la Galaxia. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How was your staying in Mexico City? It's cool?
It's cool. I mean, I've never been here before, so it's awesome. I'm overwhelmed by how big the city is.
Yes, and it's not the world like this. It's always sunny and perfect.
Yeah.
Estamos con Batista. Batista, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Oh my God, this is embarrassing. I have a pretty tiny hand.
Our worlds are facing an unstoppable threat. You guys are our last chance.
4 years making movie right now. How do you feel about this new stage of your life making movies?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. It was, it was a struggle. It was a struggle at first. It was hard for me to leave behind wrestling. I wrestled for, over 10 years. I think like 10, 12 years before I finally left and decided to pursue acting. So, yeah, it was like it was kind of the new challenge in my life. But now, it was like once we wrapped on Guardians, I felt like it really justified me leaving. It was just such a huge accomplishment.
What can you tell us about Guardians of the Galaxy? What that the people can expect about this movie?
Well, I think they can expect the unexpected. I think that we wanted to create something that was, first of all, complete 100% totally fun.
Okay.
But that was also very heartfelt and was something that we all, believed was a special movie from the start.
And I think all the fans, including me, that we follow you about wrestling now, we are fans of you in the acting stage. So you got all the fans from there coming with you. So I think that's a pretty cool thing for you.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. So if they, come out and really support this film. It's such an incredible film. I hope that's actually what I can contribute is bringing the wrestling fans, because we've got the comic fans, Marvel Universe fans, and the WWE Universe fans, very passionate. So it'd be nice to get those two worlds colliding. Yeah.
Are you telling me the fate of 12 billion people is in the hands of a thief, 2 thugs, a murderer, and a maniac?
This might not be the best idea.
Do you feel like it's more responsibility to play a character like Drax?
Yeah, I do, because it's one of those things. And I still remember this was when I was even announced for the audition. Before I even got the role, when they announced that I was up for the role, there was a little bit of a backlash. It was a little bit of a negative backlash with the Marvel Universe, because they wanted a real professional actor. Playing their beloved Drax, but I think it's because they didn't know how serious I was about acting, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I would like their approval. I hope they're really happy with the way that I brought Drax to life.
I saw the movie and I see Drax when I saw yourself. I don't see Batista, and I think
that's what I want.
Yeah. And what was the challenge about working with all these kind of actors and like the animations of Groot and Rocket?
Well, I think that you need to imagine the film fully ahead of time, which is what I think I was able to do pretty well. And I had to know exactly what we were doing beforehand. And in that way, then you can kind of build the movie around what you've planned.
If we don't protect the galaxy, who will?
We'll follow your lead.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to work in the next Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie. You are in the plans.
I'm working on it now, and I'm working on the sequel, which is gonna be out in 2017. So next 3 years of my life, more Guardians.
More Guardians. Yeah, and if you can say about these Guardians and the new Guardians, it's going to be like a very different movie, or it's like kind of
Well, I think that we'll make it a fun movie like this movie, but it's also going to take some unexpected twists and turns. I think one of the things that people like a lot about this movie is that it does what you don't really expect to happen, and there's a lot of elements in there that people didn't know were going to be there.
Yeah.
So I think it's not like we don't want to just repeat ourselves. We want to do something new and different and take the audience down new pathways.
You know what I see? Losers.
They announced the sequel this weekend at Comic-Con, which is pretty, you're talking about pressure. The first film hasn't even been released, and they've already announced the sequel, so that says a lot about people's faith in this film. but it's pretty awesome knowing that I'll be employed, and also that I'll be able to, hopefully tell more of the story of Drax and where he comes from and the Guardians, because they're such an interesting group of characters. They're not your generic superheroes by any means. They're very interesting. So I'm actually, as a fan, just excited about continuing their story.
I have a plan. You've got a plan. I have part of a plan. That's a fake laugh.
All the interviews are like the people asking questions for you. But now I just want to make something different. If you need to tell the people something about Guardians of the Galaxy, that what can they expect about the movie, what can you tell them?
I think that whatever they expect, they're probably going to get even more than they expect, because it's just so hard to, to wrap this film up in a nutshell. But I think at the end of the film, they're going to walk away just feeling really good and really kind of inspired, because it's an inspiring message, and it's the message is told in a really good way through interesting characters. It's just such a quality film. I'm very proud to be a part of it, and I think we're gonna, and I hate to sound, generic, but I think we're kind of gonna make history here, man. I think this is movie magic. It's really, it's such a good film.
I think that this is a movie that is about, all the oddballs and outcasts and losers around the world. And I think that's what I felt like my whole life. And I think that's what the Guardians feel like. And this really is a movie about, learning to find each other, learning to care for each other. And I hope that's something that, people get from this movie. That I hope that when you walk into the cinema to see the film, when you walk out, you care about the person next to you a little bit more than when you walked in.
I will fight beside you. I will destroy you and your world.
First, you gotta go through us.
When you were filming the movie, you have like a memory that you say, oh my God, that was awesome when you were filming?
There's a bunch of those memories. There's a bunch of memories that, it was such a good time. And this was, a long, lengthy process. It was over 6 months, I think, that we were filming. So a lot of good memories, but there's one memory in particular. And it was just because it was so big and it's so unusual. But James Gunn, who's director, who was just such a fun director. He's just, we had a good time, like so much on set. But there was one day in particular where we had this huge scene. We were shooting outside, and there must have been, I think, like over 200 extras. And James just decided that he was going to have everybody start dancing. And it was the cast, and it was the crew, and it was all the extras, and everybody was dancing, and there was music, and this is while we were filming. And it just, one of those things, just so unusual. I mean, just, I've never heard of it happening in the past, and I've never experienced it. But literally, like the whole film, everybody was just started dancing and having a good time.
So, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a nice day. Enjoy your stay in Mexico City.
I appreciate it.
Muchas gracias, gente de Combo. Bye.
What is that?
It's a bomb.
And you leave it lying around?
I was gonna put it in a box.
What's a box gonna do?
You just want to suck the joy out of everything.